So, jumping right into it, kind of, we've had a few conversations about this world of recovery, but wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed in the dialogue that's been going on in my head. And
Mhm.
curious to know if you've been experiencing the same based off of your perspectives.
Mhm.
But since January, I follow a bunch of newsletters, listen to a bunch of podcasts, and I was seeing a bunch of headlines come through about or CEO turnover, leadership
Mhm.
turnover. One stat, like Quartz does a month over month analysis, and in January, 14% of CEOs had turned over, had resigned, early
Mm.
retirements had been pushed out. And you think, oh, 14%, not that big of a deal. It was up 13% from the month before, but it was also double what it was a year prior. So it's kind
Mm.
of like, I was like,
Wow.
oh, wow. That's, as someone that's the owner of a company, I was like, oh, what's going on to people who are leading organizations? And as I looked into it further, there was a follow-up kind of article that McKinsey put out that asked senior leaders, executives, to self-evaluate their
Mhm.
performance. And no surprise, the thing that they said unanimously we are great at is what I'd call like big picture thinking, vision
Mm.
setting and alignment, creating new ideas, bringing new perspectives to the table, but also being able to like buckle down and manage costs when they need to. The area that they rated pretty consistently the lowest, I would bucket into personal effectiveness, personal management. So things that it required time, energy, regulation of their emotional bandwidth to be
Mm. Mhm.
effective. They were
Mhm.
like, it's the last thing I think about. So during a time of adversity, it's not how I manage my time, my emotional bandwidth, my energy is the last thing I'm thinking about. And I think that it's hurting. So this kind of brought the whole conversation together of like, maybe there's something around recovery
Mhm.
and not, so this is a bit of our hypothesis, not necessarily from a recovery or what we can learn from athletes from a practice makes perfect or the bubble baths and 8 hours of sleep, but is there something deeper there of what leaders can learn from athletes around time, personal time management, energy management, mindset management under the bucket of recovery?
I love your point around like leaders also being praised a lot more for that visionary side of things, right? Like bringing big ideas, bringing like those new innovations into the market.
Hmm.
That's kind of when we talk leaders, think leaders. I feel like we tend to gravitate towards that side of things.
Yeah.
Whereas the more deeper inner layer of leadership that is there in every leader, I think, or should be there in every leader, is much more around like your alignment with the work that you're doing, personal and professionally, your mindset, as you said, your mental capacity, the speed of change. So I like that hypothesis of like, what can we do, or like, is there something deeper in each leader in terms of mindset, taking time to recover, that would prevent things like burnout, exiting as a CEO,
Yeah.
etc.
Well,
Let's
this
head
is
to our
where we
guest.
don't know the
Yeah,
answers.
no.
We're hoping the two of you do.
No
But-
pressure.
lot of thoughts.
Yeah, that could be hours
But,
of
I have a lot of
conversation.
thoughts.
This is also the fun part of we've got 30 minutes together, so let's see what we can
Nice.
cover. But I am curious, Hugh, with your experience working with leaders around the world,
Yeah.
this kind of hypothesis or little conundrum or what's happening? Are you seeing it play out in real time? Is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
the real experience? What can you share?
Yeah. Just from my own personal leadership experience in the last 3 years, and just what I'm seeing with clients, not only here but especially in the Gulf region,
Mm.
where everything's under massive transformation and quantum growth. The one thing when I take a step back and I observe these really incredible people is they're very selfless,
Mm.
Mm.
and in many cases their selflessness and trying to do for the greater good of the organization, the greater good of their teams, it's often at their own expense, which from a long-term standpoint ends up being at everybody else's expense.
Right.
Because they don't set, so when you talk about equating it to like the athletic experience, when I was playing, I was just thinking about this. Now, I had all these notes, but then something else came to me. Everything we did had structure, and we had guardrails around everything. Like when you're watching game film, that's all you're doing, watching game film. And if for any reason you lost your way in that room, you get an earful from the coach. If you're in the weight room, you're in the weight room. If you're getting taped up, you're getting taped up. If you're on field and you're working through all your assignments, you're on field working through all your assignments. That doesn't happen anymore. Everything is fluid.
Right.
So really what it comes down to and just the solutions that we're about to embark on is guardrails, like focus,
Interesting.
which in the athletic sphere, that's what you do. You visualize, right? Like you visualize what you're going to do. I'm going to put up 30 on this clown next week, in season game. Not me. I'm just thinking you like, yeah.
Micaëlla went.
'Cause I know Micaëlla got mad game, right? But it was all about guardrails. And I've heard this term over and over again over the years, simplify to amplify. And that's what a lot of it comes down to. It's like you get so lost in all your roles and responsibilities and all the people that you feel responsible for that you don't even get time to deep think. So
Yeah.
the guardrails I think is one thing if you want to equate it to athletic experience. You took a deep sigh.
I heard
so
that
many
sigh.
thoughts.
Go. I'm
I've
taking
been
a step
trying
back.
to like
The floor is
hold
yours.
my
The floor-
thoughts.
Yeah,
go
go
for it.
for
Don't
it.
let it go.
I mean, I think a lot of this is leaders and visionaries who are trying to do both being on the balcony and being in the weeds at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And in athletics, if I go out there and my visualization is to get 30,
Yeah.
then I need someone to get 20 rebounds, or I need 4 people to get 20
Mhm,
rebounds.
mhm,
And I also need some people to play defense, and I need some people to.
Mhm.
So do your job,
mhm.
also help your teammate,
Yep.
right? Know your personnel, know how you're assigning things to different people. But as leaders with a leadership unit, you should have people in places, ideally you do, who are able to handle certain things. And as a leader and a visionary, stay on the balcony and be in that mental space of
Mhm.
operating and let other people operationalize in a state of flow.
Yes.
But you have to know your personnel and you have to do your role so that the team has what they need to do it also, right? So
That's very profound.
but we're
Yeah.
in a system that, okay, we say we can talk about sports, you talk about recovery in sports, but we count the wins and we count the points and we track those stats. So in work, we say, oh, this is what matters, but what are we measuring? What are the real
Yeah.
KPIs that we're
Mhm.
accountable to succeed
Yeah.
and meet?
Mhm.
Because your bubble bath is going to have to be with the laptop,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Or how we say we
Yeah.
preach recovery, but then we measure different outcomes.
Right.
So I think
so-
a lot of people are doing their best in their CEO roles, et cetera, coaching roles,
Yep.
et cetera. But sometimes you don't have the right people in place to be able to let go.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't have the self-control to let go. And you
Yeah,
need
you
to
don't
check
have it in
yourself.
you. You
You
don't
need to
have
check
it in
yourself.
you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's interesting. There's like that piece of like selflessness,
Mhm.
right? But in being selfless, are you also being a bit selfish because you can't let go, or like it's an interesting.
Yeah.
And how you build leaders is by allowing other people. So as a CEO who's supposed to be a visionary, you shouldn't be doing some of these things that are your responsibility,
Yeah.
right? But if I empower someone else to do it,
Yeah.
now you're learning the nitty gritty of being a CEO. Now you know the admin side behind the scenes of what it is. And now you can bring your own vision to life, or you empower other leaders by allowing them to take some of this work off your plate.
Mhm.
Now delegating is a whole next podcast episode.
Yeah.